Welcome to our Whitman Middle School building project topping off ceremony. I think this is our second piece of formal ceremonies, and I think the next one will be grand opening in February of 2027. I'd like to start by introducing myself. I'm Superintendent Jeff Simonak, and I have some very important people, and I'm going to call them up, or not call them up, I'm going to introduce them personally because we have a small crowd here, and I think our students who are our VIPs here today should know who I'm speaking about and who's up here speaking. So I'd like to introduce Beth Stafford, the chair of the Whitman Hanson School Committee and also chair of the building project. Assistant Superintendent George Farrow, former Whitman Middle School principal for 15 years. Assistant Superintendent Nikki Seamish-Schnanweiss. We have members of the Mass School Building Authority here, Maria Popolo and Melanie Soder. We have very important people who were instrumental in putting this together as far as members of our community. The Whitman Middle School Building Committee, Bob Curran, Crystal Regan, Selectman Justin Evans, Josh McNeil. And we have some principals in the house. All the other principals want to sit up front except Mr. Frost. So I'll introduce Mr. Frost first. Conley Principal Karen Downey. Hanson Middle School Principal Josh Belvis. Duval School Principal John Marcus. Our Director of Special Education Chris Cadino. Our Director of Food Services Nadine Doucette. The Assistant Director of Food Services Tina Smith. Our Facilities Manager for the district, Mike Driscoll. And we also have Ryan Tressel, who serves on the Whitman School Committee. And I know, students, you've been clapping, but can you give yourself a warm welcome by shouting something out? Like, yeah, we're here for you. I want to hear you. I'd also like to introduce members of the Colliers team and AI3 team who are scattered about this ceremony. So at the end of the ceremony, we are actually going to take this beam and put it up on top as the special piece of this second step milestone. I'd like to introduce Chair of the School Committee, Beth Stafford, to give some remarks.
Good morning, everyone. I think I have to say I'm probably more excited than anybody. I either was a substitute or taught in this building for about 35 years. This has been a dream come true after being in a room that was hot, cold, moldy, not moldy, clean, whatever, slipping on the floors, and it's just as exciting for me and for all you guys to be here, knowing that you're going to be in that building very soon. I just want to thank everybody for their support for this project, and on behalf of the school committee and the building committee, we are very proud and we are very happy what's going on, and I thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Beth. And now I'd like to introduce Maria Popolo from MSBA for a few remarks.
Hi, good morning. On behalf of Treasurer Goldberg, Chief Executive Officer Jim McDonald, Executive Director Mary Piketty, and Deputy Executive Director Jennifer Gonzalez and the entire MSBA team, I'm happy to be here today and want to congratulate the Whitman Hanson Public School District on the topping off of the Whitman Middle School. The MSBA has been a proud partner with the district for several years, and we're delighted to be here to celebrate this important milestone. The practice of a topping off is a tradition that has been traced back to the ancient Scandinavian religious rite of placing a tree atop a building to appease the tree-dwelling spirits displaced by construction. The placement of the highest beam is the building structure celebrates the project's progress, acknowledges the work of those involved, and symbolizes good fortune as construction continues. With that, we would like to congratulate all of those involved in bringing this project to this point, including the project team, Colliers, AI3, and Fontaine. I'd like to commend the support and advocacy of our partners in the legislature for being strong proponents of this project, and I'd also like to commend the local leadership, school committee, committee representatives, and taxpayers for supporting this project. This commitment invests in current Whitman-Hanson public school students as well as future generations. It's the MSBA's honor to be here today and to celebrate the topping off of the Whitman Middle School. Congratulations.
Thank you. So before we get to the placing of the beam, I'd just like to give a brief history of how this became, especially for our students who might not know this, and for members of the community that are watching right now. So we started this project in 2018, when Mr. Farrow and myself became central office administrators. So students, quick quiz for you right now. In 2018, what grade were you in? I think this is sixth graders. So what grade were you in? Or how old were you in 2018? Kindergarten, right? So you're 4 or 5. So when you were entering formal education, either in preschool or kindergarten in Whitman-Hanson, we were starting this project design. Much needed, I should say. Mr. Farrow, as like Ms. Stafford, spent significant time in this building that you still take classes in, and there were quite a few things that were not particularly well. As Ms. Stafford said, a little mold, a little cold, a little hot. I remember, I think the second floor used to get a little slippery in humid weather. So there was a definite need for the town of Whitman to build a new middle school. So we took that process and put together a statement of interest for the MSBA, who Ms. Popolo just spoke from. That is the state's funding for school buildings. Without them, this wouldn't take place. Another important piece of this is not, and I will thank the Whitman taxpayers a few times, the Whitman taxpayers who supported this project throughout by helping us through the statement of interest. And once we were determined eligible by the MSBA in 2019, December of 2019, to do a feasibility study and start this project. Once the feasibility study was through, and that's where the members of the Whitman Building Committee formed, members of our community, both people who work in town or residents or members of various communities, put their input together to help us design a building for your future, a building that can support the educational needs for the next 50 years. We then took that project to the voters of Whitman, and the voters of Whitman supported that for $135 million, which is a lot of money for a school or for a small town like Whitman. But they were behind you because they know the value of education, and they were supporting their kindergartners and what they were going to see in their future. We then started to design and put things paper to pen, pen to paper, a lot of meetings, a lot of conversation. And then last May, while you folks were still in 5th grade, we broke ground. We had a breaking ground ceremony, and in June, this was just a flat land. And as you can see now, over the summer, we've put up quite a bit of steel. We'll put in concrete. We'll put the walls around it, start putting things in. Again, for your move-in date, target move-in date of after February vacation of 2027. Everything's on target. Everything's under budget at this point, and people in town like to hear under budget, so do we. So again, I want to thank the building committee members, the members of the community who have put many hours, countless hours into this project. I'd like to acknowledge a former chair of the building committee and former school committee member who was inspirational and supported this project, Mr. Fred Small, who passed away last summer, because without his guidance through this would have been more difficult and more challenging. So I want to acknowledge Fred. And I want to acknowledge the students who will be here for the next 50 plus years in a building. It's your future. The expectation, folks, as you move into this in 2027 is that you keep it up, you respect the building, and you learn and you take advantage of every opportunity within that building. That being said, and again, one more shout out to the Whitman taxpayers. Thank you so much for your support all the way through this project. I think we're ready to put that beam up.